Yeah, it's good.
He's a great songwriter.
Well, hello. Good to have you with us on Red Barn Radio. I'm Brad Becker. We continue to celebrate the 20th season of Red Barn Radio. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to show number 783. Our guest this evening on Red Barn Radio from Louisa, Kentucky is Laid Back Country Picker, a long-running musical project which has taken a variety of shapes and forms over the years. Laid Back intrigues not only its regional fans, but a growing national audience who adores their brand of rock and roll truth seasoned with salty Kentucky humor. At its heart is David and Teresa Prince, who not only share the stage as Laid Back and Honey, but also a home and a life they enjoy together, teaching school during the week and playing music on the weekends. Welcome on guitar, Laid Back, and on drums, Honey. Give it up for Laid Back Country Picker.
People want to know where the money went. They don't know I'm here. You wonder how they found out. You trusted your best friend. You waited out and they played it out. I'm on the other end, party line. I'm on the party line. Party line. I'm on that party line. I can't make a sound, party line. I'm on the party line. Party line. I'm on that party line.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. Lex Arts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
The night 18-year-old David Prince's classmates went on their senior trip, he played his first professional bar gig. It wasn't his first show, as he'd played bass in local bluegrass bands, but it opened the door to a new life. Laid Back, or LB as he likes to be known, isn't one to brag, so I'll just go ahead and do it for him. He's played with everyone from the Georgia Satellites to the Kentucky Headhunters. He opened for Thin Lizzy and the Guess Who, recorded at Johnny Cash's studio, as well as the now defunct Butcher Shop in Nashville, owned by John Prine and Sturgill Simpson. I'd hunch LB would say, though, that what he cherishes most is his time on and off the stage with Teresa, his true honey, and the relationships he forms with the students at Lawrence County High School, his alma mater, where he now teaches social studies. Laid Back and Honey have a great story, and I know you'll enjoy our conversation between several sets of rockin' good music tonight on Red Barn Radio. Don't go anywhere. Laid Back Country Picker is in town.
You know, Honey and I, we like to travel all around, and it seems like every summer we go out west, and it's just such a magical place when we go out there because, I don't know, it seems about like when you get to Kansas, everything just gets flatter, the sky gets bigger, the attitude changes, and you just drive out through there and you can feel it. Driving out through there one time and just thinking, man, this is such a beautiful landscape here, and when the first people came out here, the very first folks to lay eyes on this, you know, what did they think? Did they know it was something different? And I just continued to think, what happened once they got there? They made up California, and then they brought all that culture back. And it was just something to think about while I was driving out in the desert. So I want to make up a song about it called Go West, and I'd like to do it for you right now. The promised land. Strike oil, strike gold, find riches untold. They'll write a book about you before you're 30 years old. Where the buffaloes roam and the antelope play. Once the girls, they're a coming every day. They'll probably build a town and they'll call it come and see it, but you can't afford to stay. Go west, young man. It's a promised land. Strike oil, strike gold, find riches untold. Sign with Warner Brothers for the coffee gets cold. Buffaloes roam and the antelope play. Lots of pretty girls, more coming every day. They'll probably build a town and they'll call it LA. You gotta come and see it, but you can't afford to stay. Go west, young man. It's a promised land. Strike oil, strike gold, find riches untold. Sign with Warner Brothers for your coffee, it's cool. The money changers, they're a-coming every day. The ground's gonna shake, everybody's gonna pray. Buy a house in Laurel Canyon, run the sun of Doris Day. Go west, young man, it's the promised land. Strike oil, strike gold, find riches untold. Ride with Warner Brothers for the deal grows cold. Go west, young man, it's the promised land. They'll run a train every day all the way to Santa Fe. Take it easy, Kenny Keezy, get a bus and hit the road, yeah. It's a song called Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper, B.B. Cooper, Minnie Cooper, Cooper's Department Store. Alice Cooper, B.B. Cooper, Minnie Cooper, Cooper's Department Store. Alice Cooper. Also, really about a store back in my hometown where I grew up, because it was called Cooper's, and that's where you went to buy stuff. But really, during Christmas time is when Cooper's shine, because they would open the upstairs up, and they had all the cool things up there. So naturally, when you think about Alice Cooper, you think about that store. Yeah, there's people here. Thank you, guys. Speaking of my hometown, I'm from Louisa, Kentucky, and it's a beautiful place, and I'm glad to live there. It's a geographic oddity in a way, because we're right on the eastern Kentucky border, and if you cross the river over into the next state, which is West Virginia, you're in a town called Fort Gay. But to complicate things further, you got to cross over two bodies of water. There's two rivers that flow there, the Louisa and the Tug, and they come together to make the Big Sandy. So our bridge crosses over two bodies of water and connects 2-3 pieces of land. I don't know. We're supposedly in the Guinness Book of World Records for something. And the legend is that if you could make your way across the bridge over to Fort Gay, that you could find there's a lady over there who could make pretty much all of your dreams come true if you could connect with her. But, you know, there's a price to pay. So really, this song's about a transaction. I'd like to do it for you right now. It's called Honey Bun. Honey bun, let's make a deal. Honey bun, that's how we feel. Cross two waters every night. Take me down to the place I was before. Honey bun, 2 or 3. Honey bun, there ain't no free. Cross two waters every night. Take me down to the place I was before. Honey bun, are we through? Honey bun, it's up to you. Cross two waters every night. Take me down to the place I was before. Take me down to the place I was before. Take me down to the place I was before. Thank you all. Honey bun. I hate to keep doing this, but I brought all these guitars, so I probably need to play them. I'll be right back. You guys at home, don't go anywhere. This is the number one for you, those of you that keep track of this at home. You can edit all that out, can't you? I was born in November of 1964, which makes me a Sagittarius, the most philosophical of all signs. Any Sagittarians? None. All right, we're not playing that song. Let's just keep moving. So I grew up in the 1970s, which was a wonderful time to be alive, because it seems like society was just a little more cohesive at that point. We were all on the same page. You can clap for that if you want. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were all watching the same TV channel, because we all pretty much, where we lived, you got one channel. So we had a lot of common heroes, and heroes of mine from the 1970s were people like Muhammad Ali, a great Kentuckian who could whip anybody. Another hero of mine, Evel Knievel. Oh, yeah. Evel could jump anything. He was fearless. Another hero of mine was Farrah Fawcett Majors. That's not funny. And my dad said, son, that's cool. You know, you got some people you look up to, but if you're going to do that, you need somebody with a little more substance. And he suggested that I look into a guy named John Glenn. He said, now there's a real American hero. He was asked by his country to go do some dangerous things to make the world a better place, and he did it. He didn't worry about it. He didn't ask, why am I doing this? He just said, yes, sir. And he answered the call of duty. So I wanted to write a song about Mr. Glenn. That coupled with the fact that a couple of years ago, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Driving and Crying rock and roll concert. And we're waiting for Driving and Crying to come out, and there's a girl on the front row who had probably had a little too much to drink, and every so often she would turn around and look at the rest of the crowd, and I swear to God she would say, amen, John Glenn. And then she would just turn back around. I have no idea what that meant, but I thought it was the coolest phrase. She did it a couple of times, and that's where I punched it into my phone. I said, I have to remember this. So I got home, I looked it up. It wasn't a song already. And I thought, this is great. So I got this song put together. It's about Mr. Glenn and some others, so here's a song called Amen, John Glenn. Sing along if you want. Old John Glenn wasn't scared to die. Went to space and back and he didn't bat an eye. Had the right stuff but he never asked why. Amen, John Glenn, you're the best to ever fly. Old Johnny Bench could really play some ball, learning from the boys down in Arkansas. Swinging for the fence, man, I never seen him fall. Man alive, number 5, you're the greatest of them all. Well, these boys were the best around. They all did a thing you can't tear down. We should all do a thing that you can't tear down. Oh, Hunter Thompson could really tell a tale. Rode with the Angels, but he didn't go to jail. Hammered on Nixon, man, he really gave him hell. You're the best, Hunter S. You served your country well. Well, these boys were the best around. They all did a thing you can't tear down. We should all do a thing that you can't tear. Old John Glenn, he wasn't scared to die. Went to space and back, and he didn't bat an eye. Had the right stuff, but he never asked why. Amen, John Glenn, you're the best to ever fly. The best to ever. Thank you, John Glenn.
All right. Wow, I like that one.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
did.
yeah, I've been singing that one.
All right.
Yeah, great to have you back. I can't tell you how good it is to have you back. It's just been so fun to. And honey, you too. Great to see you, dear one. And so I wonder if maybe a good start would be for you to lay out the Laid Back Country Picker timeline for folks. You could begin maybe you could begin actually with the moniker, where it comes from, and then get into some other stuff. McGoffin County Cadillac, why it mattered that a kid you once taught wore one of your T-shirts.
Oh man, yeah, you got a big story coming here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just laying it out for you.
All right, so here you go. I'll give you an abbreviated version. I'd been once again traveling out west playing music with a friend of mine, Rob McNerlin, who's been on the show.
Yeah.
Cowboy Rob.
Well, I
There you go.
gotta say, while you're talking about Rob,
Yeah.
so the first time I ever heard you play guitar was with Rob,
Yeah.
and that was a moment that I remember, because when I left Western Mass, little story, I'll share, abbreviated story.
Okay.
When I left Western Mass, I left behind like my favorite guitar player. Was a guy named Jim Armenti, and he played in this band called the Yankee Rhythm Band, and he played guitar like you play guitar. All different kinds of styles, but just a grunge and grind with a real country feel to it. And I thought, I'm never going to hear that again.
Well, I'm glad I'm here for you.
And you were here for me.
Well, I was talking to Jim the other day, and he told me you like that kind of playing. So that's why I do that.
But go back to Rob McNerlin.
So we're traveling, Honey and I and a guy named Jeff Ware, we're traveling. We've been to California and back, and we stopped in Texas, and we played a show, and we've been out on the road for a while. We're a little loopy. 4th of July, fireworks are going off. We're thinking the Roman candles are going to hit us, and we're just a little scared. And Honey takes a picture of me just out by a pool at midnight in Texas on the 4th of July. And we get home and we see the photograph, and it's like, this is a funky picture, man. I'm wearing this hat, and I got green glasses. My pupils are like this big around. I thought, this guy, he looks like a country music singer. And I'm really into Waylon. You know, Waylon's got a song called Laid Back Country Picker, where he tells the story of a guy who's kind of on his last legs, a country singer. And I thought, well, that's who this is. This guy's a laid back country picker. And I kept that image around for probably, 10 years or so, just making jokes and everything. I think I made a MySpace page for laid back country picker and didn't want to do anything serious with it. But I got the image put on a shirt because my daughter said that's a good thing to do. So I did. And then you enter Tyler Childers. who's a former student of mine. Hooray for Tyler.
Do y'all know that? Is that common knowledge, you think?
Well, yeah, most of these people here are former students of mine.
Oh,
Yeah, they are. So Tyler saw the shirt and said, "This is really cool," and he wore one. He got one and started wearing it, and that just like lit a fire because people are rabid about Tyler, and so if Tyler does it, they have to do it. And I benefited from it greatly because people wanted to buy the shirt. So I realized, I got something going here, this Laid Back Country Picker, but I don't have any music, I don't have anything. So I got with the Miles brothers from down in Wattsburg way, Kenny and Hayden, who are Wayne Graham, who's just another
Indeed.
excellent band. And we put together a record real quick, and we threw it out there and said, just a Laid Back Country Picker, and people wanted to hear it. And that's how it starts. And this is what it's evolved into at this point.
Well, yeah.
I'm 3 albums in, well, 2.5. The other one's ready to come out.
Yeah, so tell folks about you have a self-titled, and then
Yeah.
you put out Kingsport. And did Kenny record that?
Well, it's sort of. At this point, I'm associated with Hickman Holler, which is Tyler's label, and they said, let's go to Nashville and make a record. I said, okay, let's go. So I'm on the label's dime, and I go down there, and they said, pick whoever you want to play on the record. I was like, whoever I want? He said, whoever you want. And we're going to do it at the butcher shop. So I got J.T. Cure, who is an old friend of mine, who's Chris, what's his name?
Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton is a bass player. And I got Jesse.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, Jesse Wells came and played every string instrument you could think of. A guy named Russ Davis, who is on all of Tyler's records, played guitar. Not Russ Davis, oh my gosh. Russ Paul. Russ Paul plays guitar and pedal steel on it. And then I thought, I don't know a better drummer than Hayden. So Hayden went down and did drums, and Kenny did production along with the people down there, and it was just amazing. So I did that record in Nashville, and it's a Nashville sounding record. It's a little prettier. And it kind of comes out in the middle of the pandemic, and what do you do with a record in the pandemic? So it just kind of went in that black hole where things went during the pandemic.
And so what do you do with that? How do you make a attempt to revive it, to draw it back out?
We did a record release show at a drive-in theater in Mount Sterling, because at that time you could go to drive-ins. You couldn't do anything else. And this guy at the Judy Drive-In, we partnered with him, and we did a show there as a record release, and everyone sat in their car, and they listened, and we were projected on the big screen, and that's how we released that album. So it was just really weird, and, I sold a lot of copies of it, but I didn't get to get out and push it the way I wanted to. So now I've got a basement full of them.
Well.
Actually, I don't. I've almost sold them all, but
Well, that's good.
it was a weird time to do. It was a weird time to do anything, but weird time to put out a record.
Tell listeners the story of McGoffin County Cadillac. You're
a-
not driving that today.
Well, I'm driving the new version of the McGoffin County Cadillac. The old one has been put to pasture.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean it's still alive. I still start it up every now and then, but it's sickly, and I don't trust it very far.
It's not in the junkyard.
No, it'll never be in the junkyard.
Okay, good.
It's a yard ornament.
Okay.
And I do start it ever so often and drive it around a little bit. My dad was a mechanic, and he was a Ford guy, which made me a mechanic and a Ford guy. And I found out about Crown Vics, and I was just amazed you can build a car that big, and it's still fairly economical, and you can haul that much stuff in it. Plus this deal that police officers used them, and if you had one, sometimes people thought you might be a police officer, or other police officers might think you're a police officer, and not mind so much if you did a U-turn where you shouldn't. So there was quite an appeal to it. And I got it, and my friend said, that's a McGoffin County Cadillac. And McGoffin County is a neighboring county to me in Lawrence County. I didn't know what that meant, but as it turns out, there's a lot of boys in Salyersville, McGoffin County, a lot of union guys, millwrights, pipe fitters, carpenters, and they drive long distances to go to the job site, and they especially come down to like Georgetown and work at Toyota and whatever. And they would buy those at auction because you can put a lot of people in the back and haul them to work, and you can go really fast, and the law doesn't seem to mind so much. And so that's what the McGoffin County Cadillac is. And we made an over-the-top video with Honey in it, and it became just kind of a local little hit. It was cool. Got on Sirius XM some. In fact, it was on today, someone told me.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Very nice.
Waiting on the check to come in, but it's on there. So that's the story of the McGoffin County Cadillac.
Ah, nice. So you mentioned that you have this vehicle out in your yard as a yard ornament. Do you and Honey sort of share the same sensibilities when it comes to the way you decorate your yard?
Yes and no. And first off, Honey drives a Crown Vic as well.
Oh,
She has an '09 Vic. The original McGoffin County Cadillac was an '04. The car I'm driving now is a '95 Crown Vic. I mean, it's just what we have. We're Crown Vic people. I also have a '73 VW van in my yard that I'm putting a motor in because that's just what you do. Honey likes to put weird things in spaces where they don't belong, out in nature. That's kind of what she does.
like, are we talking about little statuettes and
Sometimes,
things like that?
or just something
surprises.
Yeah, just something that you don't see coming at all that shouldn't be there, and that's kind of how she likes to decorate.
What about gardens, like flowers and vegetables and things like that?
We're vegetable garden people. I live for Hungarian wax peppers. That's my favorite thing to grow. So I've got a garden with some of those, some tomato tomatoes. We did cucumbers this year, and they just take over. Cucumbers are the bully of the garden.
More than zucchini?
No, on par with them.
Right,
now.
okay.
Oh, zucchini, yeah. We had to stop. We used to do zucchini, and they took over. So now, and I got to say, for any listener out there who can help me, my wax peppers are doing 0 this year. So if you have an abundant supply of them, I'm looking.
All right. Hey,
Do you have a garden?
yes, but it's all flowers.
Oh, okay.
You know, so we're not growing any food.
Got it.
A lot of herbs. Got some parsley. I'll tell you something that takes over. Arugula.
I don't know what that is.
It's a peppery flavored legume. Or no, it's a lettuce. And yeah, it goes wild. If you let it go to seed, it goes crazy. Yeah, so but you got to try arugula. If you like peppery tasting things.
Oh, I do.
I think you and Honey would like it.
Well, Honey, as you can tell, she likes spicy things.
Well, I can tell she's very excited to try it. Hey, I'm talking to Laid Back Country Picker and Honey here on Red Barn Radio. We got a lot more music to go and more conversation coming up. Glad you're here. Laid Back.
Probably should have done this while we were talking, but
That's all right.
lost track.
No need.
I wrote this next song at the Dairy Queen in Weston, West Virginia, which is sort of noted as a place where no one has ever written a song before. Honey and I had been out traveling. We'd been way up in upstate New York, and we were trying to get home, and we were just loopy, tired, listening to FM radio. And this, I don't know, the mood just hit me to write this song. So we pulled over at the Dairy Queen, got pen and paper. I put this together. There are those that speculate after they've heard this song, because this is on my first record. They said, well, this song is about glam rock of the 1970s. I said, no, that's really not it. Other people thought, well, maybe it's about venture capitalism. No, that's not really it. And then there were those that speculate that this song is about psychedelic drug use. This is a song called Dave Bowie. It could be worse. You could be dating a nurse that works the night shift at the nervous hospital. It could be worse. You could be under the curse of a man who dug a well and found a Chinese army. That's so real. I can see it. I can feel it. I can taste it. You know, I got to tell you all, I had a dream last night. I dreamed that my next door neighbor was the great Jimi Hendrix. Now, Jimmy kept to himself most of the time, and I didn't see him a whole lot. But one day I heard a knock on the door, and there he stood. I said, "Hey, next door neighbor, great Jimi Hendrix, what's up?" He said, "Lay back. I really hate to trouble you, but do you think there's any way that maybe I might could borrow your lawnmower? Because mine seems to have stopped working." So I said, "Sure, next door neighbor, great Jimi Hendrix, let me go get it." So I gave it to him, and he took it over, and I noticed pretty soon he had his yard looking pretty spiffy. And he kept it about a week. And a week turned into 3 weeks, into 2 months. All of a sudden my phone rings, and it's code enforcement. And it said, "Hey buddy, you're going to have to cut that grass over there. You're a little out of control." So I knew what I had to do. I go over and I knock on Jimmy's door, and I said, "Hey, Jimi Hendrix, great guitar player, next door neighbor. Do you think I might maybe could get my lawnmower back, man? I hate to ask." And Jimmy just breaks down. He goes, "Oh, man, I am so sorry. I completely forgot that I had your mower." He said, "Lay back, man. Let me go get it, and I'll bring it right back over to you." He said, "In fact, let me fill it up with oil and gas, and I'll bring it to you." In about 10 minutes, here comes Jimi Hendrix with my lawnmower. And he said, "Lay back. I'm so embarrassed, man." He said, "If there's anything I can do to make this up to you, you let me know." I said, "Great Jimi Hendrix, next door neighbor, as a matter of fact, there is. You think maybe on my next gig you might come out and play a little guitar with me?" He said, "Yeah, I could do that." And he did, and it sounded like this. It could be worse. You could be driving a hearse with the man who bought the world from old Dave Bowie. Well, he bought the whole world. Yes, they bought the whole world off an old Dave Bowie. He was a thin white duke, he was Aladdin sane. 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 Thin white duke, he was the spiders from Mars. Dude bought the whole world from Dave Bowie. Can you imagine? On our travels out west, we went to Billings, Montana. Anyone here ever been to Billings? Clap for Billings. So when you roll into Billings, Montana, there's a big billboard out front that says, "Welcome to Billings, the Magic City." Didn't know that. Had no idea Billings, Montana was a magic city. So Honey and I go there and we stay a couple days. We see all there is to see. We visit all the antique stores and pawn shops and junk stores, and we found the best ice cream store around. But I never did see any magic in Billings, Montana. It was completely devoid of magic. So I don't know where they get the name. Maybe it's where Doug Henning's from. I don't know. Doug Henning? No, not even a Doug Henning fan. Hey, there's a Doug Henning fan. You know, if you're watching at home, type in if you know who Doug Henning is. Anyway, I thought I'd better make up a song about it. So this song's called Magic City. Head first, the Magic City, the sunburst in Magic City. Travel west, get some rest, be against the sky. Open the door forevermore, get to know your mind. Oh yeah. Head first, the Magic City, the sunburst in Magic City. Take a round in your town, are you down with the scene? Here's a tip, take a trip on a ship that's clean. Oh yeah. Find your way, the Magic City. It's a new day in Magic City. Head first, the Magic City, the sunburst in Magic City. Find your way, the Magic City. It's a new day in Magic City.
Well, we've got lots more music and conversation with laid-back Country Picker, but I'd like to take just a minute to remind listeners that Red Barn live streams, both tonight's and on any given Wednesday, remain available online for you to view at your convenience on the Red Barn YouTube channel. Our live video stream is also available on the weku.org website, as is our audio stream, compliments of WGAD.net in central New York. Don't miss a single episode of our program, and please be sure to tell your friends what it is that you like about Red Barn Radio and why they should be listening too. Of Jace Turley, our Red Barn Radio guest next week, music media outlet Americana Highways has this to say, and I quote, "Every now and then, you come across a musician early in their career, and from the first time you hear them, you know they're destined to be huge." The talented artist of whom they speak hails from Greenup, Kentucky, and his name is Jace Turley. He's heavily influenced by his father and his grandfather's love of music. Jace started attending bluegrass camps and seminars every summer at age 6, and he picked up the fiddle and dobro. He settled into guitar at the age of 12, and he started singing and writing songs at 14. In the few years since then, Jace has shared bills with many artists you're familiar with, from Justin Wells and Logan Halstead to Nolan Taylor and Drayton Farley, all guys who've been here on this stage. Jace is going to be with us on Red Barn Radio next week, performing music from his debut album, The Opening Act, released in April of this year. Join us next week for music and conversation with Jace Turley on Red Barn Radio. Now let's get back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We welcome you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the Arts Place Performance Hall in the grand city of Lexington, Kentucky. Please welcome back Laid Back Country Picker to the Red Barn stage. And Honey.
You know, I've played with Jace Turley. I know him. He's a talented young man.
All right. I'm looking forward to meeting him. Had some great conversations on the phone.
Yeah, he's a good kid. You know, before we go any further, how about Honey back here on this drum set, man? She's just staring it out. She was super excited to come to Red Barn, as you can see. Yeah.
Clapping.
You know, Honey, we get up about 5 a.m. every morning, and she's probably going to have a hard time. I don't know if she'll go to sleep before then tonight. But she's pretty cranked up.
Yep.
It just never stops, does it? Well, it seems like this record I'm putting together has a lot of songs about where I live. And it's interesting because when you live in a community, there's lots of roads and just little communities that have a name. And you know the name of that community and everyone knows what it is and you don't think twice about it. But when you go outside of that circle and you start naming off some of the places where you live, they look at you like, that's the name of a place? That's very bizarre. One of the places... there's a place pretty close to where I live called Hester Gap, and I don't know why it's called Hester Gap. I've tried to look it up before. But I wrote a song about it called Hester Gap, and I'd like to play it for you right now. Hester Gap, turn around. Hester Gap, it's a long way down, 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 down. Go down 3 and we'll stop at the turn hole. See some friends that we all know. Back over 5 Forks, stop at the Wow. There ain't nothing but ghosts there now. Hester Gap, turn around. Hester Gap, Hester Gap. Turn around. Hester Gap. It's a long way down, 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 down. Thank you all. You know, we kind of touched on it earlier. Started off playing bluegrass music because my mom and dad were both musicians. Dad was just a wonderful banjo player, fiddle player, really dug bluegrass. That's what he was all about. And he did like Johnny Cash, and he saw Elvis, but he was really a bluegrass guy. In our household, there was 3 bands we listened to, and it was the Stanley Brothers, Flatt and Scruggs, and Bill Monroe. Big 3, and no one else really mattered to him. And I kind of grew up pretty much with the same mindset. But then you start digging in a little bit to the history of bluegrass, and all those bands are just intertwined together, and they all kind of played with each other at different points when they're trying to get their career going. And one of the more interesting people from that conglomeration was Lester Flatt. And if you just read about Lester, well, I guess they're all kind of odd ducks, but there was something I really dug about Lester. So I wanted to write a song about him, because when people seem to be branching off and trying some new stuff and interpreting some new sounds for bluegrass, Lester didn't do that. Lester wanted to stay pure. And I guess Bill did too. And I guess the Stanley Brothers did too, so really this whole setup makes no sense whatsoever. Here's a song called Lester Plays It Straight. 2, 3, 4. Started in old Kentucky, 2 brothers from Rosine. They played a new kind of music the people had never seen. Bill was a man who was in control. Earl could play a break. Lester played it straight. Lester played it straight. The 2 brothers from Virginia on the radio in Tennessee. They brought the sound from the mountain. The people came down to see. Ralph's knew a sorrow without end. Carter tempted fates. Lester played it straight. Lester played it straight. Big Mon couldn't hold them. The Foggy Mountain Boys were born. They walked off with a Grammy. They shucked all the corn. But Earl and his boys had done turned on, listening to the Moby Grape. Lester played it straight. Lester played it straight. Lester played it straight. Lester played it straight. Thank you all. Lester plays it straight. Gotta switch guitars, don't leave again. This particular guitar This is a 1959 Airline Town and Country. It was sold by the Montgomery Ward Company, and you could mail order it. That's a super cool thing. I guess it was made by Valco, and them and Supros are all sort of the same, but this is just a really special guitar. And Honey bought it for me for my birthday. And that's what I said. And it's just been a great addition to the show, and it just has its own voice, and it just begs to be played. So I wrote this song that I do on this song, and it's a number called LB's Truth. And don't you ever forget it. When old James Brown rolled into town, he brought the funkiest sound and everybody got down. The Stanley Bros went nose to nose. They played 1,000,000 shows and kept them on their toes. Yeah! Jimmy H just took me to that place up in outer space. I still see his face. The motorhead put 'em all to bed, but like Lemmy said, they're all dead. Go!
I changed my mind. That's my favorite.
I think it's my favorite too. In this moment.
You got a favorite slide player?
You know, Jimmy Page is good, and I really like Joe Perry's slide playing, and both of them are just super sloppy. They're not like that Dwayne Allman type slide playing.
Yeah, right.
Johnny Winter's a really great slide player. And I guess really because I have limited ability and I can't play like Dwayne, I like those guys. You know?
That's raunchy. It sounds
Yeah,
great.
it is.
Yeah. So you were telling me earlier on a little more of a story about how you got that instrument. Is there more story to tell?
Yeah,
Tell us.
How long we got? Are we running out of time?
No, we're okay.
Oh, great.
We're good.
We'll cut. Ed will cut this out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have nothing better to do but get on Marketplace and look for instruments. And so I'm on there, and I'm wanting one of these because Joe Perry played one in some Aerosmith video. He had a Supro, but they're all the same thing. Valco built them all. And I thought, man, that's a sound. You get one pickup back here, and it's just going to sound killer. And I keep looking for them, and they're kind of out of my price range. And then one pops up down in southeastern Virginia, and it's in just outside of Norton, which is not too far from me. So I contacted the guy and said, hey, I'd like to buy this, and we kind of really couldn't get together on the price, and I let it go, and it was just out of my mind. I thought, okay, it's not to be. And he puts it as sold, so someone has bought it. So I gave up on it. And then maybe 2 months later, he sends me a message and said, the deal fell through, and I'll sell it to you for this price. And I couldn't believe it. I thought, this is great. So honey said, I'll get this for you for your birthday. Great. So I start driving down towards Norton. I'm communicating with the guy. I'm on my cell phone. He's telling me where to go. But once I get down in the pretty deep mountains of past Norton, there's no cell service now. So I'm not really sure where I'm going. I find the town he's talking about, but I can't contact him to really get to where he is. And I taught school that day, and it was starting to get late. And so I know that if I go to the Dollar General store, they have wireless internet there, so I can get a signaler. So I go to Dollar General, and I'm just walking around looking at the pine saw and stuff like that, trying to text this dude. And I kind of made connection. He said, well, you're almost here. You need to go up this mountain, and then there's a housing complex over here, and that's where I am. So I start off looking for him, and of course the directions aren't really getting me there. No service at this point. So I'm driving around this just housing project looking for this guitar. You know, do you go door to door? Hey, you know, you got an airline for sale? I don't know what to do. It's starting to get late at night. I'm about to give up. I'm going to come home. I just thought, I'm not going to get this guitar. And I swear to goodness, I kind of drove past the last place I was going to look, and there's a kid sitting on the porch holding this guitar. And so I kind of stopped, rolled the window down, and said, you got a guitar for sale? He's like, yeah. And he brought it over. You know, it needs strings on it. It's just not all together. But I couldn't believe I actually found him. And we made the deal, and I took it home and cleaned it up, and it's just the guitar. I love it.
It sounds great.
Thank you, honey. You know what she means.
I do. So when you buy older instruments, are you yourself able to set them up and do some of the fine tuning on them?
To a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, this one didn't really need a whole lot. I just kind of cleaned it up a little. The electronics were fine. I set the intonation just a little. But no, I can do minor things. If it gets more difficult, I'll take it to someone else.
You want to tell us about any of those other instruments you got that you're packing back there?
Yeah, this the Black Les Paul Custom you see there, it's a 68. And a friend of mine named Jack Randy Atkins sold me that in probably the late 80s. I was playing in a band with him, and he owned a guitar store. And I didn't really have a good instrument. He's like, here, let me say this. And he sold me this guitar just at his cost, which was stupid cheap at the time, and a half-stack Marshall. He's like, you need cool instruments.
Yeah.
And so he sold me this, and this just to me is priceless. I love that guitar. The Telecaster I bought off Rob McNerlin for just a pewtry sum because it's a parts guitar. There's nothing real on it, but it's really good. And then the Epiphone there, I made a deal at a gas station in Richmond, Kentucky for that one.
Really?
Yeah, I think it might have been Craigslist, back on the Craigslist days.
Craigslist is still there.
Is it? Well, I don't even go there. I'm sorry. Are they a sponsor of the show? I love Craigslist. It's my first stop. I met the guy at a gas station, and of course, that's where you make the best guitar deals.
Yeah.
And I got it. And I've had it for a long time, and I just didn't. I looked at it, and I thought, well, this is okay, and I played it some. And it doesn't have a lot of high output to it. And I thought, well, I don't like it. But here in the last couple of years, I've come back around to it. And I showed it to you earlier. It weighs maybe 3 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's become more valuable.
There's a lot to like about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some other things that we need to talk about, and one of those being a little bit more about about the sort of some of the doors that were opened up through McGoffin County, then the T-shirt. I think that the story of how you got to play Ryman in the Ryman Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Some pretty exciting venues. I'd love to hear you tell us what that was like.
While you're mentioning, I'll throw in one other I don't talk about. Tower did a CD release show at Webster Hall in New York. And, that didn't really ring a bell with me, but it's the Ritz from back in the day in New York. And so I got to go up there and open that show as well. And I'll just go ahead and say, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now had Tyler Childers not said, let's do this. I mean, Tyler pushed me and said, come on, you got something to say, and gave me a chance to do it. Or I wouldn't be here. It's just that simple. I'll be writing lesson plans for tomorrow.
Well, I don't know. We'll come back to that.
But, I've got to play some pretty, I know Tyler would call me at like 3 in the morning to talk about things. Like, that's perfectly normal. And, I'm asleep, and Tyler's like, hey, man, what are you doing? I was kind of sleeping. And he's like, I'm getting ready to play the Ryman, and I want you to come down and play the first song. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Is it cool with them? He said, well, I haven't told them. They don't know. You're just going to go do it. So we got down there, and it's not like Tyler's a household name at this point. It was his first time on the Ryman. And so I go down there with him, and like we're setting up, and all the crew and sound guys are doing this. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy's got a phone, and you need to hook it up for him, and this is his guitar amp. And they don't know what's going on, but they don't care. They're stagehands, and they go ahead and wire it. So when it comes time to go, Tyler said, hit it. So I go out and I play the first song, and the audience don't know I'm going to do it. No one knows. If Roy Acuff would have been alive, he wouldn't have known. And I played Party Line.
Oh, all right.
And it was great. It was just the greatest time. And
Did you play with the band?
Yeah, we used his band, and I just came out and played Party Line, and I'm sure some people said, where's Tyler Childers? And other people said, well, that's way back. It's okay.
He looks different now.
Yeah, he's a little more, he's aged. But yeah, I mean, Tyler just does stuff like that. And I got to tell you, there's another band I play with called Luna and the Mountain Jets, which is it's one of Honey's favorite bands.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Love to hear her tell us about it sometime.
Well, yeah, she's got a lot to say. And Tyler has invited her out to Red Rocks in September to open a show for him at Red Rocks. Luna and the Mountain Jets will be opening. So that's
all right.
Yeah, it's really a great deal. We're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah. Well.
So what was so you met Tyler when he was a little kid?
He was.
I mean, freshman in high school.
Freshman in high school.
Right, and so did you guys connect?
Yeah, I knew his family. His dad was Tim Childers, who was a couple years younger than me in school. I knew Tim's brother, Jim Childers, kind of grown up with them. So when Tyler comes up, I know his family, and I know Tyler's a little bit of a musician, and he would even ask me, in fact, his dad asked me, so, we want to get him a good guitar, what do we get him? And, I gave him some advice, and Tyler's like writing these songs and saying, here, check this song out, and he would send me stuff home that he had written. And he was already a few steps above everybody else, the way he was writing, the things he was into, and what he had to say. He's just incredible.
And so when you first got into teaching social studies and you're teaching 9, 10, 11, 12?
Mostly freshmen and seniors.
Did you find yourself sort of seeing young David Prince in the kids in your class?
Oh, yeah.
Which kids were they?
These would be the kids who always wanted you to know they play guitar because they would carry it around and they would try to speak loudly about the music they were into. And they just, and that's who I was in high school. I always wore a trench coat, and this is back before trench coats didn't mean something horrible. It just meant you were probably in a rock band. And I remember, and this is a dumb story, and cut this out, Ed. Ozzy had a song called Mr. Crowley, and I found this book by Aleister Crowley. So I would carry it around like I was reading it. I didn't read Aleister Crowley's book, but I wanted people to think I did. So I had the Crowley book in my trench coat, and I was a rock and roller. And I see those kids to this day. I mean, their hair's a different color, and their shirt says something besides what mine did, but we're the same. We're the same kids. Some of them are sitting right back there right now.
Are they really? Is it truly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are.
Raise your hand if you were in his class. Oh, wow. You weren't joking.
No.
There's like six kids here.
Well, they're not kids anymore, but yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, wow. That's terrific.
Yeah. Love these kids.
Yeah, well, I'd love for them to come up and say what it is that impacted them about your class. Anybody, you're welcome to do that if you want to come up here and do that. Anybody want to say anything?
They're not going to do that.
No, you never know. It used to happen all the time on this show. People would come up to the mic all the time. Grant, come on up here.
Grant.
All right. Come on up, Grant. What is it that you remember about?
This is your life. That's what this is.
Step right up. Yeah, step right up.
All right. Hey,
Grant, where are you
testing.
Good to see you.
From Lawrence County.
But do you live there now?
No, I live in Lexington.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Welcome to Red Barn.
Thank you.
Yeah, what do you remember about class with Laidback, Mr. Prince?
I remember
Chico.
Chico. Yeah, that's what we always called him.
Why'd you call him that?
That was his name. There was no David Prince. There was a Chico Prince. And then we were like, hey, this guy has a band named Super Chimp at the time. Yeah. And I remember finding a video of Casey. What was that song? No, not Night Train. Was it a song they were doing? Yes, I can't remember. Trucker's Choice. Yeah. It's this old, animated video on YouTube, classic. And we saw that before, or maybe like after the first week, we had Chico in class, and he was just a legend in my mind. So I respected him to the utmost. I wanted to be like Chico, and
thank goodness you weren't.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have my trench coat on, never found that. But I just remember how much Chico cared about his students, and he was just so down to earth, man. So down to earth. He still is to this day. Has great fun with whatever he does, especially the kids in school. I mean, he's awesome. We need more teachers like Chico.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah. All right.
Here, I got to say about this group of kids, too.
Okay, yeah.
All these kids were in my AP government class, so these are like the AP kids.
These are okay.
So when I would walk in.
High achievers.
Yeah, and so when I would walk in every day, if you think you're the smartest guy in the room, you're not. I was not the smartest guy in the room with these kids, right? And that's not a joke, and it's not a bad thing. Oftentimes, many times, teachers are learning from the students as we go. And I did that daily with those kids over there.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the best part about the profession, right?
It really is.
You
and
go
they
in,
may be a better person.
Yeah. Do you like teaching AP courses in high school?
I do. I love it because these are the kids that want to go a little beyond just what's required, and they want to know a little more. and go a little deeper. Now, I will tell you, and this is kind of a dark cloud, AP government really delves a lot into politics, and it's okay to be into politics, but I've really kind of grown tired of politics to a degree.
Well, yeah.
Because we've just become so divided, and politics seem to be a little more fun, it seems like, at one point, and now we just seem to hate each other over it. And I'm still trying to find a way to where we can say we can discuss this stuff, and we can respect each other at the end of the day and be on different ends of the spectrum. And I'm trying to make that happen, but it's hard.
Yeah. Well, I think it's amazing that that you and Honey both have given your lives to teaching young people, and I think it's also really really cool that the two of you are able to do this together after the workday, and that you enjoy each other, you enjoy traveling together, and you just enjoy the fun that this is. Was there some point in time where, where you sort of put the hand in and said, okay, you want to do this thing together? And you said, yeah, let's try it together. Or how did that happen?
And first of all, let me say, you mentioned Honey being a teacher, and she's a preschool teacher.
Yeah.
They work for a living. I mean, they have a hard day, and she comes home exhausted, but she loves it. You have to love it to do that job. My days, I hang out with a bunch of kids and we talk about stuff all day, and that's not so bad. But she's teaching kids, this is how you act in school, and sometimes kids have never been. Her kids have never been in school, so she has a difficult task. I've always played music. We had bands together even back when we first got married, and it's not like we ever said, well, we're all in. But we started caring more about original music, and we played cover bands for a while, and that was fine. You can make a lot of money doing that. But at some point you go, I want to devote most of my energy into doing this and saying something artistically. And so that's what we do now. And oddly enough, the pandemic sort of made this situation happen to where Honey plays drums now. Because, I got a practice room, we got a drum set down there, and one day you just goof and Honey gets on the drum set. And she can just play. She's got a natural feel for it. And so, it makes us very streamlined. We can get in one vehicle. We love being with each other. We love going to new towns, and it just really works out this way. So we've been very fortunate to sort of, and it's not like we'll always play this way. I still play with the Miles Brothers when I can, and other musicians, but most of the time it's this, and it's so much fun.
Yeah. Well, she's obviously excited to be here tonight and playing with you, but does she ever give you a sense that maybe this might be a limited run? There might be a point in time coming around the bend when you might like to try maybe a different persona or something else?
At some point there will be some other personas. We haven't talked about that. She's really digging playing drums. I mean, she hangs out. When we go to festivals and things now, I see her hanging out with the drummers, talking drum talk. And it's so cool. And, She wants to play like John Bonham. That's who she wants to be like. So, she's just enjoying being a drummer right now.
And so, but you're not finding a situation where the guys are always, running away with her, because it's always the drummer, right?
Women love her. And I mean, this is no joke. Honey is like an icon to women everywhere because they come up, they flock to her after the shows. And it's usually women either her age or a little younger. And they just say, you're such an inspiration to us. And, we don't think about it, but I guess we're kind of getting up in years. But here we are out playing all the time. And she just jumps on a drum set and starts playing. And women go, that's amazing. You inspire me to try something new. And people love her. They just love Honey.
Yeah. Well, so do we.
She's the star of the show.
Yeah. People ever approach you and ask you especially people from out of state, if you feel it's right to make fun of Southern culture in Appalachia? You ever get any of that?
No.
Or you feel like people kind of get what you do?
Am I making fun of it?
No, I don't feel like you are, but I can see.
Because
how
I don't
some
see
might.
that at all.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm paying homage to singers from back in the day. But no, I've never been. There may be people that think that and they grumble behind my back, but no.
So you've never had anybody hit you with that?
No, and most people get the. I think you either get this or you don't. And I've seen people go, I don't know what this is. What are you doing? But the people that get it, get it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is every moment, but I mean, I know most of the time I do.
I know what it is every millisecond.
Well, I think it's really the best of the South. You know, it's like in the South we can kind of look at ourselves and chuckle, and I think that we can enjoy our quirkiness and put it out there for everybody to like or dislike.
You know, and it's
You
one of
know?
those things too. We can do that,
Right.
but we don't want anyone else doing it.
That's right.
You know, we don't. And you know what?
There's a lesson there.
There is. Patterson Hood of the Drive-By Truckers, you know, he's from the South, and he understands, and, you know, he talks about the duality of the South all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to be proud of and maybe some stuff not to be proud
Sure.
of. And it's a difficult place to be in. And there's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Laid back, and honey, it's been great to have you here on the show, and I'm glad that it's not over. There's more music to go. You've got at least 3 more songs. What's the next one coming up? Is it Kingsport? Yes.
That's what it says. Hey, I'm getting a thunderstorm. Are we okay? Is that me? Is anyone else hearing them?
No. It's
Okay.
You have a headache, or you need a Tylenol or something?
No, we ate some mushrooms at the restaurant before we came over.
All right, let's welcome back Laid Back and Honey.
She does it all. She's a multicultural. You know, I was fortunate enough to record a record down at the butcher shop, which at the time was a partnership between John Prine and Sturgill Simpson, and I'm sure some other people. And we called the record Kingsport, and we put it out, and then, like I said earlier, it went into the black hole where things go during the pandemic. But we got a pretty good song out of it. It's sort of autobiographical. It's a little song called Kingsport. You got guitar? You can hear it okay? Okay. We let out of Kingsport in the middle of the night. We was playing country music, treating people right. When the amplifiers are cooled down, guitars put away. Put that pick in the hammer lane, this is what I'd say. Well, that road is long, and my eyes are wide. Playing country music, treating people right. You know it ain't easy, it's the life I need. I've seen all good people and I've helped some friends in need. As we ramble through them cities, little country town. Honey and me's a picking it up, we're about to lay it down. Well, that road is long and my eyes are wide. Playing country music, treating people right. Well, that road is long and my eyes are wide. Playing country music, yeah, that road is long and my eyes are wide. Playing country music, treating people right. Got to be careful with those curlers. This next song I'm going to do is a song called Down the Road. Kind of an interesting story. A few months back, I was watching the news, and there was a truck accident up in Pennsylvania. And it seems like a truck had wrecked and lost its cargo up there, and it was hauling monkeys somewhere. And these monkeys had escaped and were just all over the place, and there was just a highway full of monkeys, which is going to be the name of my new book, A Highway Full of Monkeys. So they're coming on the news saying, you know, look, don't try and come and catch these things. We got it. Just stay at home, lock your doors, and we'll take care of this. And so I'm going, what on earth is going on here? There's so many things I need to know. One, where do you get a truckload of monkeys? And where are you taking them? What have you done to them, or what are you going to do to them? And why don't you want us trying to help you catch them? So I thought I got to write a song about this because it's just too insane. So I started putting this song together. And of course it has to be about truckers because the poor truck driver wrecked and lost the monkeys. And so the song sort of takes that turn. It's about the truck driver. And then it sort of become more about the truck driver's life. And it become a pretty serious song. And then all of a sudden, I left the monkey part out. So this song really has nothing to do with monkeys whatsoever. But it is about it's about life, really. It's what this song's about. It's called Down the Road. Bill got up that morning like any other day, kissed his wife, got in his rig, headed on his way. Every day you climb behind that wheel might be your last to pull the load. Down the road, far from home, on your own. Went down to the yard to get a load of freight. 8 hours to Atlanta, son, this one can't be late. So many lives depend on what you do and where you're bound to pull the load. Down the road, far from home, all alone. Crash out on the highway, Bill laid his burdens down. Someone said, what is his name? Some man from out of town. A woman lost her love that day, strength will be found to pull the load. Down the road, far from home, on your own to pull the load. Down the road, far from home, all alone. Am I done? Or do I have one more? Oh, I do. I've got one more. I'm reading it right on the page. Man, how did I forget that?
You got a thing with cats, or?
Well, funny you should ask. Gotta switch guitars again. Sorry about that, Brad. I'm
That's all right.
not comprehending too well. I mentioned earlier I write songs about places where I live, and this is another one. There's a community called Little Cat down where we live. And it's just, there's Little Cat and Big Cat, and everyone knows what that means. But when you go somewhere else and say, well, I live with Little Cat, what do you mean you live with Little Cat? So I wanted to write a song about it, and this is just about, sometimes when you're a younger person, maybe even when you're an older person, you have to travel great distances to go see people you care about. You ever done that? And sometimes it's worth the trip, and sometimes it's not. It was always worth the trip to go see Honey. Always. Always.
How far did you have to go?
Days. It was probably about 35 miles
Huh.
just to where Honey lived.
And Martha?
How, Martha, look at you, boy.
Did my research. Google.
Yeah, so I go out Martha and see Honey, and it was great. And then try to come home and stay awake late at night. Ain't got nothing to do with this song, though. Here's a song called Little Cat. It was late November, I hope you all remember, yeah. Leaves were turning brown, cold rain coming down, yeah. Everyone was there, she walked through the fair, but my baby lives on Little Cat. Had to make connection, we're gonna change direction, yeah. Going down to town, that's where we're bound, yeah. 64 to 23, it looks good to me, but my baby lives on Little Cat, baby. I'm sure you all remember, yeah. Leaves were turning brown, cold rain coming down, yeah. Everyone was there, she walked through the fair, but my baby lives on Little Cat, baby.
Well, there are so many people to thank for our program. First, Laid Back Country Picker and Honey, our guests this evening. We're ever grateful for our volunteers and staff who make our production happen so beautifully each and every week. That's Matt and Zach and Kate and Forrest and Eric and our producer upstairs, Ed Commons. We want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast, watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and those listening to us on the network of Red Barn stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, NPR, for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Those of you here in the Central Kentucky area, you got to be sure to check out Red Barn TV. It's our weekly program of music, now on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests and our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. And now, before we close out tonight's program, I wonder if we might get Laid Back Country Picker and Honey to play Magoffin County Cadillac for us. Is that possible?
It's absolutely possible.
Excellent. Well, let's do it then. All right.
Thank you so much. I dedicate this to all the fine boys down there in Magoffin County, and you know who you are. You know, and I do got to say, and this will become outdated at some point, you can edit it out. Eastern Kentucky's struggling right now with the flooding that we had down in Perry County, Knott County, Letcher County, and we could use all the help we can get. And I'm sure there's plenty of places to donate money or just to come and give your time or resources, but those folks are hurting down there. Anything you can do would be appreciated. Here's a song we made up called the Magoffin County Cadillac. Touring cars about to blow. There's a place that you can go. The police auction Friday nights. Listen, boys, I steer you right. Crown Vic fleet maintain. Your life will never be the same. You put the family in the back. Magoffin County Cadillac. Hey! That's right, honey, I'm on the Red Barn Radio. You don't have to wear a shirt to haul a bunch of boys to work. Flash the chrome of the spotlights. The doing wrong start doing right. On this road you are the king. 55 don't mean a thing. Once you're in you can't go back. Sing it. 2, 4, 1, 9. King of Estill County, Magoffin County Cadillac. Magoffin County Cadillac.
Wow. Well, that's all for our show for this week. But you can see and hear the Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. You can also listen to archive performances on Spotify and iTunes and watch Mountains, laid back, that's Mountains, of video on the Red Barn Radio YouTube channel. Remember, every like, comment, share, and subscribe helps bring roots music Southern style to your neck of the woods. And finally this, if any of our featured artists are performing in your area, go out and hear them live. They need you now more than ever, just like the people in Eastern Kentucky right now. From all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night from Red Barn Radio.